Hi guys, I'm Danny and welcome back to The Clique, a platform to inspire and empower you to get out of your own way, do the work that you're passionate about, build a business that you really love and design a life that is entirely on your terms. Now, grab yourself a cup of coffee / glass of wine, depending on what time of the day it is for you, because I'm going to be talking about how we can get exactly what we want in 2017. Now, I know we're not quite at the end of 2016 yet, so thinking about things like New Year's resolutions may seem a little bit preemptive, but actually it's a really good time to start thinking about what you want your life and your year to look like next year now. So start thinking about it now, because by the time that January comes along, it's already going to be a bit too late. You don't want to be thinking about your big goals when you are on a Christmas hangover. So start thinking about them now. Start thinking about what will 2017 look like for you. Now, the point of this video is to share exactly what you could be doing and exactly what you need to be doing in order to get exactly what you want in 2017. So what I want to share with you within this video is my thoughts and views on goal setting, with a few actionable steps that you guys can take away of things that you can do today, so things that you can do to start you moving towards your goals before actually the new year kicks in. So one of the first things I want to say about goal setting and about sort of going after what it is that you really want is that you've got to know exactly what it is that you are aiming for. Now, one of the stories that I really like to share is a story about when I was back in Ibiza a while ago, and I was out with a group of friends and we were having this amazing day. We drank a lot of rosé and we had these inflatable swans, and we decided to take the inflatable swans out into the sea, which is all very lovely. We were having a great time, soaking up the sun, listening to some of the music that was coming from the beach and floating off on these inflatable swans. An hour later, we'd floated pretty far. In fact, we had drifted pretty far out into the sea, and I said to my friend, look, I think we've got quite far. Maybe we should try swimming ourselves back into shore. So off we hopped and we started making our way back to the beach. Only at this point, we'd got quite far and we didn't realise quite how strong the tide was. So every time we were sort of swimming ourselves forwards and pushing our swans back towards the beach, we were getting pushed further and further back. So the panic kicked in, which thankfully was quickly averted because some kind gentlemen who were sort of cruising by on this little boat managed to pick us up and sort of take us to safety. Now, the Swan story tells us how dangerous it is to just coast along without really a clear plan of what you're heading towards, because you get to a certain stage where you've got so far that it's actually really, really difficult to get back. And this is exactly the same thing in life as well. So the Swan story does have a moral to it, and that moral is, if we just coast along and drift along in life pretty aimlessly without any sort of clear direction of where it is that we're heading towards, we find ourselves in a place that we don't want to be, and often it's really, really difficult to get back from that place. Now, so often this happens with people's lives. They set themselves off in a certain direction, so maybe that's a job that they're doing, and they don't really have any sort of clear goal of what they're heading towards in the future, and they say to themselves, it's fine for now, I'll just stick with this job for now. It's not necessarily what I want to be doing, but it provides me with an income and it'll do, and they coast along in their jobs and in their lives. And then the next thing you know, 10 years have gone past and they're at a place where they don't want to be, thinking, how the hell did I end up here? So coasting, as the Swan story reminds us, is a pretty dangerous thing, mainly because most of the time we don't even realise we're doing it. We're coasting along aimlessly and we don't even realise we're coasting. We kind of convince ourselves that we've got a plan and we've got it figured out, when we don't. We don't have a plan and we don't have a very specific goal of what we're heading towards. So what I want you to do is I want you to start setting yourself some pretty specific goals for 2017. What is it that you want to achieve by December 2017? What's your life going to look like by that point? Now, one of the next things, which is a really good point to mention here about sort of setting your goals and sort of knowing what it is that you want, is actually giving yourself time to figure out what it is you really want. Now, one of the things that I get asked a lot is, Danny, well, what if I don't know what it is that I want? And I say to them, well, have you kind of given yourself time to think about what it is that you want? And they're like, yes, I give myself loads of time to think about this. I think about it all the time. And then I say, well, have you actually sat down and dedicated a specific amount of time just to figuring out what it is that you want? And they say, no, I think about these things on my commute or in the shower or, sporadically. And I say, that isn't good enough. Like, shower thinking is only going to get you so far. Now, I always laugh because I say, actually, time in the shower, it's basically 10% washing your hair, 90% figuring your life out. And that's kind of the case for a lot of people. They do make most of their important decisions sort of when they're on their commute or when they're kind of multitasking, doing other things. Whereas what I actually want you to do is give yourself the luxury of time to just sit down and write down everything that comes to mind when you think about what it is that you're passionate about, what it is that you'd really like to do, what you don't do enough of at the moment that you'd like to spend more time doing. And give yourself, 20 minutes, half an hour, even an hour, just kind of being alone with your thoughts. So what you do then, you get yourself your notepad and your pen, you write all these things down. Now these are going to be your big desires, your big dreams. And what I want you to do here is actually give yourself the permission to dream big. Now, one of the things when it comes to goals is if you want to achieve them, if you actually want to see them through and actually reach that end goal, it's got to be something that excites you, let's face it. If it's a goal that's, realistic, achievable, doesn't really kind of get you exciting or, even ignite that bit of fear in you to a certain extent, if it doesn't do those things, chances are it's going to be a bit boring for us and we won't have any real sort of incentive to go out and achieve it. Now, if we're setting ourselves really big, ambitious, lofty goals, that all of a sudden feels very, very exciting. So maybe that's a business that you want to start, or maybe you want to have your first book published, or maybe it's some amazing location that you want to travel to. Make sure whatever your goal is, it's something that excites you, because if it isn't, I can guarantee that it won't work and you probably won't end up hitting it. So a few years ago, I set myself a goal of running a half marathon. Now, this didn't excite me. In fact, it just made me feel a little bit sad because I really don't like running. Running's definitely not my jam. Yoga is fine, that's kind of my thing, but running, oh God, no. So it was already a goal that wasn't really exciting me. And to be honest, I wasn't really thinking about the reasons for sort of setting myself that goal. It was basically because I could see all these other people doing these sort of really ambitious fitness goals, and I thought I should probably jump on the bandwagon. So I set myself the goal for all the wrong reasons, and it wasn't a goal that excited me. Every time I dragged myself up to go running, I was just making myself more and more miserable. And it got to a point where I was like, why am I even doing this? This really sucks. Like, I hate running. It makes me sick and I just don't want to be doing it. And why am I even going towards this goal? So I obviously gave up on the goal, didn't do my half marathon. The moral of the story being, your goal needs to excite you. It needs to be something that you're going to really enjoy sort of striving towards. This doesn't necessarily mean that the whole process of going towards that goal is going to be easy and enjoyable, because most big goals, there's going to be a bit of pain along the way, but no pain, no gain, right? But the end goal itself, the end goal has got to be something that you are really excited by and you actually really want to achieve. Now that brings me on to my next point about don't get yourself too caught up with sort of the goal itself. So a lot of people, when they are thinking about what their goals are going to be for sort of the next year or in their future, they get really fixated on doing a specific thing. But what you actually want to think about more is how you want to feel as a result of hitting that goal. So think about here, not necessarily what you want to do, but how you want to feel. So write down all of those desires that you have for yourself in terms of how you want to feel. What this does, it makes us focus on goals that are really going to make us feel better about ourselves, because ultimately that's the whole point. We kind of want to feel good. Like, that is pretty much the whole point of life, is feeling good. So make sure whatever goal you're working towards is actually going to make you feel really good at the end of it. So as an example here, years ago, when I was sort of at uni, I set myself the goal of becoming a lawyer. I wanted to be a city lawyer. I wanted to work in corporate law, and, you know, have this sort of fancy, like, legal career. That was my goal. Like, that was where I was heading towards, and I was quite specific about that. That's where I was heading towards. Not once did I sit myself down and think exactly how I would feel as a result of hitting that goal. And what happened was, I sort of got towards the end of that goal and I didn't feel great at all. In fact, I felt sort of really restricted. I felt like I'd had any sort of creativity zapped away from me, and I just felt a little bit lost. And the reason sort of why I'd kind of, you know, ended up at this place was because I didn't think about how that end goal would really make me feel. And I wasn't really in tune sort of with what my desires were. Now, a big part, I think, of this is making sure that you are going for a goal for the right reasons, and making sure that it's actually what you really, really want. Because so often we go for goals, we go for certain goals because we think that's what we should be aiming for. Quite often, people get sort of influenced by other people's perceptions of sort of what success means, or, you know, what it means to be a success. And we kind of get ourselves kind of stuck along these paths of working towards a specific goal because we have this idea in our head of how success should look. So for me, this was kind of why I sort of ended up on this sort of goal towards building this legal career, because I had it in my head that to be a success, which was what I wanted for myself, it looked a certain way. It looked like sort of a city career where I was earning a really good salary and I was going to work every day and climbing up the career ladder. And what I realized was I was sort of abiding to other people's versions of success. So that wasn't my idea of success at all. And I wanted something that was a lot more creative and gave me a lot more freedom. So what my point is here is, make sure you are doing the goals for the right reasons, and it is entirely for you, and you're not getting swayed or influenced by what other people are doing. Because like I said earlier, you've got to sort of be excited and sort of really lit up by this goal, because if you're not, chances are you are not going to get to that end destination. And even if you do, you're going to get there, you're going to hit your goal, but then you're going to be miserable. So what is the point in that? That's not what we want. We want to get to our end goal and not only feel elated that we've hit the goal, but elated because where we've got as a result of hitting that goal is exactly where we want to be. Now, my next point about goal setting is that the end goal is for sure important. Like, we need to be working towards a specific thing of what we want to achieve for ourselves. But actually, what people really, really neglect, and what is so important, in fact, probably more important than the goal itself, is actually who we become in the process. Now, people forget this. People forget that actually working towards a goal, it's not necessarily the goal itself, but it's the journey. It's everything that you achieve and experience as a result of working towards this final goal. So quite often people get really disheartened if they don't hit their goal, or if they don't hit it by the deadline specified, without realizing that the main point of goals is everything that we do in order to get to that goal. Now, whilst it is amazing to actually set yourself really ambitious goals and then actually go out and smash those goals out of the water and actually hit them, what's actually really important for you to do is to enjoy the process. Enjoy the process of actually working towards that goal, because that ultimately is the thing that's really going to change you, and that's going to be the thing that actually makes you feel good. not hitting the goal itself, but actually seeing yourself and witnessing yourself transform as a result of pursuing this particular goal. So for me, for example, one of my goals sort of a while ago when I was still in a job was to be able to leave my job, to quit my job, to take my business full time. So for those of you who don't know me, so I am a coach and I work alongside female entrepreneurs helping them build their businesses. So I really just wanted to take this business full time, and that was my goal. Obviously, when I hit that goal and I was able to leave my job, that was amazing. But I think what was even more amazing was witnessing how much I changed in the space of starting that goal and actually finishing it. So everything that I'd kind of gone through in that process. Now, some of it was like amazing stuff that had happened, but some of it was really shitty. Like there was times when I was kind of, had setbacks, or, I was really like, had loads of fear about whether things were going to work out. All of these things I felt, looking back, had far more value than me actually hitting the goal itself. It was the transformational process. It was the whole thing. So it's so easy to sometimes get so fixated on our end goal. But what I would like you to do in pursuit of your goals is to enjoy the process, knowing that you as a person are blossoming as a result of setting yourself these amazing goals and going for them. Okay, now for some practical advice with regards to goal setting, and when it comes to setting your goals for 2017, some little tips of things that you could do. So the first of all, so like I suggested, give yourself the luxury of time to write down sort of all of your desires, what it is that you really enjoy and what would really light you up as part of your goal setting. What is it? Make sure that goal that you're working towards is something that really excites you. So write down everything that really excites you, all your desires, all your big dreams. And like I said earlier, give yourself permission to dream big. If you set yourself realistic and predictable goals, you're going to get realistic and predictable outcomes, and there's no fun in that. So dream big here. Set yourself that time to really dream big. But once you've got all of those things written down, once you've got all of those ideas, don't set all of them as goals. That is going to set you up for failure. If you set yourself too many different goals, you're ultimately going to feel overwhelmed and you're never going to give enough energy to any particular goal. So chances are you're never going to hit any of those goals. So what I want you to do, and this may feel as if you are just kind of really putting all of your eggs in one basket here, but trust me on this one. I want you to pick one goal that out of all of those things that you wrote down, all of those desires and things that you want to achieve, one goal that you can do in 2017. What is the one thing out of all of those things that you've written down that if you achieved in 2017, you would be really happy and you'd be ecstatic and, you'd feel like, okay, my work here is done. So what would that one goal be? Now, I'm a big advocate of doing less rather than more. Not always been the case. It's definitely sort of a new philosophy I've adopted, and it's ever since I read a book by Gary Keller called The One Thing. So I will link to it below this video because I urge you to read it. Really, really good read. And it is all about doing less, but doing it better. So rather than being distracted and having our energy diluted by doing loads of different things all at the same time, we focus on one thing, we absolutely nail it, we hit our goal, and then we move on to the next. Now, this isn't to say that the goal that you pick, that can be your only focus of the year, but what I want it to be is your core focus. Now, this brings me on to my next point. You want to make sure that your goal is specific. So it has some particular defined end goal. So you know exactly what it is that you're hitting for. So launching a business, it's okay, but it's a little bit vague. You want to make sure that you know when you hit that goal, you'll be aware of it. So launching a business, the reason why I say it's a bit vague, because you can kind of have a business going, but it may not be bringing you any money. So then it's not really quite a business. So this is why I quite like financial goals, because it's very much, okay, I've hit this figure in a certain month by a certain date. Then what you need to do is you need to write that goal down. I say this time and time again, so simple, but you know, you can't just have the goal floating around in your head and expect to be sort of on track to achieving it. Make sure you write that goal down. Write it down and have it at multiple places around your home. So perhaps stuck on your laptop, or you know, by your bed, or where you brush your teeth in the morning. Have it written down everywhere. Because what I want you to be doing is getting pretty obsessed about hitting that goal. Then what you need to be doing is every morning you need to be waking up with intention. That intention being you are working towards the goal that you've set yourself for. Now, so many people, they neglect their goals and they start off really enthusiastic about it, but a few weeks go by and they're kind of like dipping in and out of working towards their goal, and the next thing you know, it's completely forgotten about. So this is why a lot of people just give up on their New Year's resolutions. I think the statistic is most people give up on them after like 2 weeks or something. And one of the biggest reasons I think this happens is because people aren't intentional about working towards their goal every single day. Now, a big part of not only setting your goals but hitting your goals is consistency. It's showing up every single day and doing small little steps every single day, and you know, building that consistent momentum. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They go in full force and really enthusiastic about it, and then sort of 2 weeks down the line things start to unravel. So starting your day intentionally then for me is so powerful. I'm a big advocate of The Miracle Morning, which is a book by Hal Elrod. Again, I will link to it below, but it's all about a routine that you do every single morning. The idea behind it is you're starting every day with intention. Rather than kind of getting out of bed, feeling sluggish and just going through the motions, you've got a clear direction for how you start your day. And how this relates to goal setting is, as part of your morning routine, as part of this getting up and starting your day with intention, I want you to be thinking about that goal you're working towards. So, as part of thinking about this goal, I want you to set yourself a vision board. Now, I'm obsessed with vision boards. I have sort of a physical vision board in my office, which has got things that I'm working towards. So a good idea is to actually put your goal, your main goal, on your vision board and put it in the center. Now, there's going to be other things that you're working towards. So like I said earlier, you want to be picking sort of one goal. So what is that one core goal, and make that your core focus. There's going to be other things that you're going to have in the pipeline as well, other things that you want to achieve. But what I suggest is putting your core goal right in the middle and making that picture the biggest. So that's going to be the real prominent thing that you're working towards. And every morning I want you to get up and I want you to actually visualize yourself hitting that goal. Add in some affirmations about you hitting that goal. But the idea with this is that every morning you're getting up and you're being intentional about what it is that you're heading towards. Because, like the Swan story reminds us, coasting is very dangerous. So if we're starting our day a bit aimlessly and just going through the motions and not really thinking about the direction that we're heading in, we drift off and we end up at some place we don't want to be. That's not what I want to happen for you guys in 2017. I want you to end 2017 and be like, yes, I made it, I've arrived, I'm at my goal and I'm pretty happy about it. So starting your day intentionally. Now, a last final point then about sort of hitting your goals in 2017 kind of ties in with this morning routine, but it's about the law of attraction. The law of attraction dictates that we attract into our lives whatever vibes that we are emitting. So if we are emitting vibes that are positive and are aligned with what it is we really want, the universe listens to that and will give us exactly what we want. So as part of your morning routine, as part of being intentional, I want you to practice the law of attraction principles with that as well. So the law of attraction principles, when you are visualizing your goal, when you're doing affirmations that are aligned with your goal, I want you to get excited about those things. So get excited about that goal as if that goal already exists, as if it is already a done deal, as if there is no doubt within your mind that you are going to hit it. And what this does, it creates a positive frequency. It raises your vibration. And then what the universe does, bear with me here because this probably does sound woo-woo to you guys who aren't into the law of attraction. But what it does is the universe recognizes this positive vibration you're giving off, and it will actually match it. So it will give to you whatever it is that you're asking about and whatever it is that you're thinking about. So when you're thinking about your goals, come from a place of abundance, not lack. So rather than thinking about your goals in terms of, oh God, like I'm scared, I'm not going to hit it, what if it doesn't work out? I want you to come from a place of, babe, I've got this. I've totally got this. It is a done deal. There is no doubt in my mind that I'm hitting my goal. And think about you achieving your goal as if it's already happened, as if you've already hit that goal. And I promise you, the universe will answer you back and will provide you with everything that you're working towards and everything that you've asked for. Again, bear with me on the law of attraction stuff, because some people, when I'm explaining it to them, they're like, what is she on about? But it's something that I've brought into my own life. I'm a big advocate of it. It really does work. It really is powerful. So what I urge you to do is to be thankful for the goals that you are working towards as if they already exist, and see if that works for you, because I'm going to go with that it will. I'm going to go with it. If you do it every single day, 2017 is going to be a big celebratory year for you. Now, on a final note, if you haven't done so already, it would be absolutely amazing if you subscribe to the Clique. So hit the subscribe button below. The reason being, we are going to be doing a lot more amazing video content in 2017. We've got lined up some incredible women who are going to be sharing their stories and their pearls of wisdom with you guys. So if you don't want to miss out on that, I suggest that you sign up at the subscribe link here. And on a final note, I just want to thank you all. We have come to our first year in business at the Clique, and it's been an absolutely incredible year, but it wouldn't have been anywhere near as incredible if it wasn't for the community of amazing women that make the Clique so, so awesome. So thank you guys for sending me your emails, for, you know, following the Clique, for sharing your content online and tagging us in. Like, it really, really does mean a lot. And I hope that for 2017, I know that for 2017, I am just gonna pour as much value as I can into the Clique, into growing it and into making it the most valuable place for women who are ready to go after what they want in life. So it's really gonna be an incredible year next year, and there's gonna be lots of amazing things for you guys to look forward to. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.